What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're gonna talk about my guy Anthony Edwards as I'm trying to cover the draft and give y'all my updated thoughts. Now that we have the draft lottery done, now that we know the order, now we know who people feel like will be the number one picks and why they potentially might be in teams that they might go to. I said, you know what? I updated them in the summer, but things have changed drastically. So let me update how I feel about players and the situations now. But it's about the Minnesota Timberwolves and what they should do. This is a team that has superstar Karl Anthony Towns, a guy that's absolutely unstoppable, has the three ball, has the mid range, has the post up ability, has the free throw game, and we haven't seen the player like him ever. He's very unique. He's just a dangerous, multifaceted scorer, and it's it's amazing to have a player like him, and that's why you want the number one pick so you can get one of those franchise altering players. Even though he needed help, just like any other superstar, he needed help, and he ended up getting to the playoffs. And I know they got put out in the first round, and that was the only time that he made it. But he can't do it alone. You make that Jimmy Butler trade to get you over the hump, and that's what happened. You know, and even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the D'Angelo Russell trade, because I felt like it didn't really get them anywhere. I felt like they was going to be still okay to a mediocre team at best, but I did understand that they wanted to start fresh because the Andrew Wiggins and the Karl Anthony Town pair hasn't worked and hasn't won and hasn't really did much for them outside of getting Jimmy Butler that year. So I understand why they wanted to go in a different direction. And you got a superstar player that a lot of teams would love to have. And in that case, you make the trade to make him happy. But now we looking for results. Now that you got D'Angelo Russell, you got Malik Beasley, you got some decent talent around you, and I don't think it's enough to make the playoffs in the Western Conference this current season that's coming up. They are going to be competitive, and they are going to be a team that's going to be fun to watch at best. You're going to enjoy seeing the pick and roll. You're going to have some high scoring games with D'Angelo Russell getting hot. You're going to have some games with Towns going to get 20 rebounds and 20 plus points. And, that's what you can do under the circumstances that they got themselves in. But one thing that helped this season is getting the number one pick. And the power of the number one pick is amazing because even though this draft hasn't had the best received talent, even though this draft hasn't been critically acclaimed at the top, it's still some guys in this top five. And I can say that because they have the number one pick guaranteed now. It's some guys in this top three, top five that have that superstar potential. They might not be it now, they may not be it in the first 2, 3 years, but they have upside like Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball to become something special if they get drafted by the right team, and if they're put in the right situation, they can be all-star caliber players at worst. And that's something that you do want, and that's something that the Wolves have to consider now. I heard a rumor that they're considering trading the number one pick for another piece that can help them get over the hump. And that's smart because Anthony Edwards don't really feel a need. You already got Malik Beasley, a guy that can cut to the paint, a guy that can create his own shot from time to time, and a guy that can kill you from three if you leave him open. And that's a perfect complementary player for a guy like Towns and D'Angelo Russell. And another thing that helps with Malik Beasley is that he's a restricted free agent, which means that they can match any offer and they have a chance to negotiate a deal with him. And since he's not a max caliber player and since he's not a superstar, you can get him on a decent deal and he will complement their duo pretty decently. He may not be the greatest defender, but offensively, he's the perfect complementary player to this duo. And with you having that player locked up possibly this summer, and on top of that, you already got D'Angelo Russell and Towns locked up on long-term deals. You really don't have to commit to any rookie that you don't want because you can cash that pick in, which makes sense if you're trying to take that next leap and go from an okay to mediocre team to one of the best teams in the Western Conference, you're going to have to give up something. And the number one pick might just be that thing you might have to realize that you might not need as much as teams want, because it will be tough passing on the superstar. But when you make the D'Angelo Russell trade, you're not trying to rebuild. You're trying to go out there and compete with the best team you can put out there, and a number one pick can very well entice any other team to really say, you know what, we can rebuild. Let's go for that number one pick. Or this isn't working. Let's trade this player and get the number one pick and try to, change our trajectory of our team. And that's what, at the end of the day, the Wolves are trying to do. Let's trade this pick and change how this team is going to be perceived, and change what this team can be by getting somebody that can help us now at a position of need and possibly take us to that next level and help us get back in the playoffs. And then you just never know what happens if Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell end up working out and they become one of the best offensive teams in the league. Then you're not going to really regret making that trade, and you're not going to really regret taking Anthony Edwards as the pick, because he doesn't really fit the need, and he doesn't really fit the situation that they're currently trying to become, which is a playoff team. And the only reason why I say that is because, like I said, that's the reason why you make the Jimmy Butler trade, is to get in there and try to see what can happen in the future. And obviously that didn't really work out the way they wanted it to work. But we're looking at a Minnesota Timberwolves team that was 19-45 last year. So they was definitely one of the worst teams in the entire NBA. And I know Towns was injured. I know that they didn't have too much time with him and D'Angelo and Beasley on the court. But this team is very, very flawed roster wise. They need a good small forward that will help. They can use another big center, because I don't think you're going to really worry too much about Nas Reed. He's not the long term situation for the backup center position. Their power forward position, they saying that Wancho wants out, and if that's the case, you have to find a way to replace what he brings to the table. And the forwards that they have are either undersized, or they're just not tall or athletic enough, or they don't shoot good enough to complement Beasley, Russell, and Towns. So it is a lot of wings available now, and it is some that are possibly up for the trade, especially when you're having the ability to trade your number one pick, and you do have the cap space, even with the Beasley extension, to add somebody on that spot and try to patch up that small forward or power forward position. It's going to be interesting. They're trying to go all in and show Towns that they're about winning. They're trying to show Towns that they can win the title in Minnesota by, trying to put the pieces around them and showing them that we believe in you. We feel like you are one of the best players in the league, and you can take us to where we're trying to go. If I had to be honest, I'd rather see them trade the number one pick. And I said that even in my mock draft. Anthony Edwards is an interesting player. Anthony Edwards has a high upside, high ceiling, but he also do have high bust potential. Same with LaMelo Ball, as a lot of their skills are so unpolished and so raw that you really don't know if they're going to be a superstar. They have the potential, but you can say that about anybody in the draft every year. It's about your work ethic. It's about your situation, and it's about their opportunity that you get as a rookie and throughout your career that shows you what type of player that you possibly might become. So you get a player that's guaranteed, already know what he's about, already knows how he plays, and a veteran, or you can get the number one pick that can be great in the future, but Towns and D'Angelo Russell might be gone by that time. And even if they're not, you're wasting time if you're not winning, especially when you just came off a 19-win season and you're trying to triple that to get into the playoffs, because that's what you have to do in the Western Conference. And Anthony Edwards isn't going to change that coming in as a rookie. Even though I got respect for him, even though I like him and some other players in this draft, he's not going to contribute to winning no time soon. And one of the biggest questions about him and LaMelo Ball is can their style of play lead to wins? And if you're trying to take that guy number one and everybody's saying that they may not be able to contribute to winning, they're so raw and they have a lot of talent but it's untapped and they have to get to that point and that can take 4 to 5 years, then Towns and D'Angelo might definitely be going by that time if they're not even winning enough games or they're not in the playoffs. The team will want to go in a different direction because you're better off rebuilding than trying to compete for the eighth seed each and every year when you're not even guaranteed to do that in the Western Conference. And we done seen a lot of teams this year suffer the same fate, like the Grizzlies, like the Pelicans, like the Suns. They're great. They got good talent, but they're just not there yet. And they may never be a championship contender because we don't know how the future is going to unpack and unfold. So I like what the Minnesota Timberwolves are thinking. I'm liking what their mentality is trying to win now with their duo, and they're trying to keep Towns happy. And if you want to keep Towns happy, you want to keep him in Minnesota, you might have to make a trade that you may not want to be in a rush to make. But that's why you sit back in these next couple weeks, you try to find the best deal, find the best player, and try to negotiate as they can now that the season is over to try to find that perfectly complementary player for Towns and Russell, or trade down in the draft, get another player, get another pick, and try to go that direction too, which would be smart. Let me know what you guys think about the Minnesota Timberwolves, what they should do, what player that they need, who would be a perfect fit, and if they should keep keep Malik Beasley, or do you think that this D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns thing won't work anyway because they're not great defenders and they're not the greatest offensive players in the game at this point in their career? Or do you think it can work? It's just gonna take 2 to 3 years for them to see results, or do you think them trading the number one pick and get them over the hump and get them back in the playoffs, and it'd just be interesting to see if they can continue to build upon that success if they do have some. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com, link in the description comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com, link in the description comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that liked on Facebook. Also check out my spread shirt. Damn in the description in the comment section below. You can buy merchandise on there. But not only that, you can also buy merchandise on my Facebook page. You can change the color of the shirt, change the color of the logo that you pick. You can also buy hats and other things if you're interested in that. You can find that on my Facebook page. I got them on display, and message me and I can get it shipped out to you how you want it to be. Not only that, I got over 1,000 videos, almost 2,000. Continue to subscribe, continue to like, continue to share as that help this channel grow. But not only that, if you're new to the channel, I do discussions just like this, top 10 list free agency trade deadline, playoff predictions, draft coverage, summer league videos. So if you like these videos, you need that daily fix every day. This is the channel for you. See y'all tomorrow. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis. I'm gone.